Jerusalem is Israel's capital. U.S. Embassy will move to Jerusalem next year, says Pence as fight breaks out during his speech to the Knesset. Vice President announced that U.S. Embassy will move to Jerusalem next year. He faced protests from Joint List coalition of Arab parties in Israel. They began shouting and holding up protest signs at the beginning of speech. Other parliamentarians tried to take down their placards and fight broke out. Security restored order and the vice president continued with his speech. He said Jerusalem is Israel's capital and received a standing ovation. Scuffles broke out in the Israeli Knesset today as U.S. Vice President Mike Pence made a speech announcing the United States will open its embassy in Jerusalem next year, ahead of schedule. Arab lawmakers in the Knesset held up signs condemning the move and were confronted by Jewish lawmakers before ushers subdued them in violent scenes. It came moments before Pence was greeted with prolonged applause during his speech to Israel's parliament. He said, Jerusalem is Israel's capital, and as such President Trump has directed the State Department to immediately begin preparations to move the United States Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The accelerating of the embassy timetable, announced in the first-ever address of a sitting American vice president to the Israeli Knesset, marked the highlight of Pence's three-day visit to Israel, celebrating President Donald Trump's decision last month to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Members of the Joint List coalition of Arab parties had pledged to boycott the Pence speech in protest at a December 6 decision by U.S. President Donald Trump to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Israel claims all of Jerusalem as its capital, while the Palestinians see the eastern sector as the capital of their future state. A number of Arab parliamentarians began shouting and holding up protest signs that read Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine at the beginning of Pence's speech, before ushers pushed them out. Scuffles broke out. Knesset members from other parties tried to take down their placards while security restored order. Ahmad, leader of the Joint Arab List, said the group will not provide a silent backdrop to a man he called a dangerous racist. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the boycott a disgrace. He and other lawmakers gave Pence a standing ovation. Pence was preceded on the dais by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who lavished his American guest with praise and gratitude. It was all part of an exceptionally warm welcome for Pence in Israel, which has been overjoyed by Trump's pivot on Jerusalem. But the move has infuriated the Palestinians, with whom Pence is not meeting, and upset America's Arab allies as well. Pence responded to the ruckus by saying he was humbled to speak before such a vibrant democracy, before delving into his prepared remarks about the two countries' unbreakable bond. I am here to convey one simple message. America stands with Israel. We stand with Israel because your cause is our cause. Your values are our values, and your fight is our fight, he said. We stand with Israel because we believe in right over wrong, good over evil, and liberty over tyranny. In his speech, Mr. Pence defended the controversial decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, which has been condemned by the Palestinians and their Arab allies. The administration will advance its plan in the coming weeks and the embassy will open by the end of 2019, much earlier than previous estimates. The move would take 3 or 4 years. Pence responded to the disturbance by saying he was humbled to speak before such a vibrant democracy, before delving into